Hello, Slug family. Today is Tuesday, October 6th. And judging by my shirt here, have I got a story to tell you. Hashtag all true. This is my baptism story. It is actually my anniversary of my baptism. 1 year ago, I got baptized. I kind of can't see it. Boom. October 6th, 2019. So if you tuned in to the show 2 days ago on Sunday, and you would have heard my Vegas story. So if you haven't watched that video real quick, I came out to Vegas late 2017, right before Christmas. Came out on a whim. I had a sign from God and said, screw it, I'm going out there. Was out here, got a job immediately. God blessed me with that. And since that day of working at that place, I've worked every Sunday morning in Las Vegas since being here from day one, from my first week. Now, there are other days in the week and you can go to night service, but like most people, I make excuses, man. I get lazy. It's just like most of you sometimes, football's on, especially during football season. It's like, oh, I got to watch my Niners, which was not a good look the other day, by the way, guys, in case any of you guys are tuning in, but that's a whole other conversation. Without further ado, though, this is my baptism story. So, being here in Sin City, seeing lots of evil in the flesh, all sorts of walk of life, I felt more and more called to get baptized. I never was baptized. I wanted to give myself to God on a whole new level. But the thing is that I wasn't ready to commit myself to a new level. So I always had an excuse of why I couldn't do it or this and that, blah, blah. And lo and behold, right before October 6th, October 5th, I'm working Saturday night. And October 6th, I don't have to work Sunday morning. They got me working Sunday night at the restaurant and bar I was working at. So I'm like, man, get out of work Saturday night, go across the street to the bar, get some food for myself. I'm not a drinker, but I was hungry and, lots of 24-hour places to eat in this city. So I'm blessed with that as well. So I go and get some food. I'm sitting down and I'm talking to this girl. She's in town from Texas. She's visiting her boyfriend or with her boyfriend from Texas. And he's like intermixing and having a good time playing some darts. And, it was a packed house. She had nowhere to eat. So I was like, hey, share the table with me. It's cool. Obviously, it's pre-COVID. And so we're talking, having a good time. She's eating her food. I'm eating mine. Just making small talk. Nothing deceitful, nothing dirty. It was nice. It was really nice. It was just two strangers having a complete conversation with each other. Some different viewpoints and this and that. And it was just like, hey, we move on, move forward. What's the next thing we can talk about? Oh, that's funny. That's good to know you. So I told her a little bit about myself. And she asked me what I wanted to do. And I was kind of generic. Wasn't really too specific. I like to keep things to myself for the most part. And at least in the pretense of it. Once it happens, though, I'll share anything. Really, I'm kind of an open book. It's already happened, so it's kind of my coping mechanism too. Even if you have something that really bad happened to you, to share it, because that's the only way you get it out. Otherwise, it just kind of sits in there, And so we're talking, tell her some things about me, and she goes, "Hey, listen," and she grabs my hand, looks me in the eyes, and she goes, "Everything you want in life is gonna happen, but you just need to take your first step." And I'm like mid-bite, and I'm like, okay, thanks for the Hallmark quote, exact words. And I go to pull my hand away. She grabs my hand with the one hand she originally grabbed, and then the second one, grabs it with both hands, slams it down on the table, and she goes, "No, look at me. I'm not a random person. I'm telling you, you have to take your first step." I go, okay, I'll play. What's my first step then? She goes, "You'll know when you see it. Don't miss out on the opportunity." I go, all right, thanks. Talk a little bit more, finish up eating. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get going now. It's late. Nice to meet you both. Shake her hand, shake the boyfriend's hand. I leave. Go to bed. Now, like I said, it's my first Sunday morning off. I usually wake up Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. to go to work. I wake up, it is 10:15 in the morning, and it is like I just missed my opportunity. I just felt this cloak of just filth on me. Man, like God has given you so much, Vinny. You can't get your ass out of bed at 10 o'clock in the morning to make it to an 11 o'clock service. Even like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like seriously, the one Sunday, the one opportunity, like you're out of excuses now, and I am just hard on myself, really hard on myself. So I start Googling like 11 o'clock services, Las Vegas, da 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 da. Da. I found this church, Canyon Ridge, and it was the first church I saw when coming into Vegas. It was actually right down the street from my cousin's house that I stayed at for the first week when I was here in Vegas, getting accustomed to them and all that stuff too in the whole city. And I just, listened to my eye, and I was like, what? I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it. So I shower, speed across town to the other side, complete other side of town from where I live now. And I get there at like exactly 11 o'clock, and most Christians are pretty much late all the time though, because God's timing is always triumphant. So I think we kind of take that last daisical, we kind of like live in grace when it comes to like our little 5 minute window of like, God's got me. So I get there at 11 o'clock. It's a mega sized church. I mean, multiple tiers of floors. Biggest church I've ever been in my life, And I start walking towards this seat. I see this empty seat. I start walking towards it. And, even in the house of the Lord, the devil lurks right outside. And especially when the word hasn't been talked about yet. So all of a sudden I start walking towards the seat, and I go, I'm not going to sit there. I'm like, well, why would I sit there? And I turn, start walking towards a different seat. So wait a second, what am I doing? I was like, it's a seat in church. There's no bad seat. I was like, go back. Just go back and sit there, dude. Go with your gut. So I go sit down in this seat by myself, packed house. And, before the preacher comes on, the introduction guy, whatever that guy's name is, he comes on to talk about church announcements and this and that, and, get everyone excited. Like, who's ready to receive the word today? Like, woo, I am, And he goes, all right. He goes, before we get started, he goes, I just have one announcement. He goes, after church today, we're doing baptisms. And for one of you, maybe it's the first step you need to take. My heart got thrown in the back of my chest cavity. It's like, whoa. Here I am for weeks trying to get baptized. I even hit up one of my preacher friends. I was like, man, I got to get baptized. I'm under attack, man. And he's like, I can't help you, man. He's like, I'll keep my eye out, see if there's any baptisms going on, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was under attack. And I was under some spiritual warfare for sure. So the message is on point. In hindsight, I can't remember one word he said. But I remember at that time, I cried pretty much the whole time. Because everything he was saying was just boom, boom, boom. I was like, is this a TV show? Is everyone in on it? Are y'all in on this? Because this is really just about me, right? Am I the only one? So church is over. I go outside to the baptism pool. Real upscale church, real nice. They had a really nice, mason work, in-ground pool. Beautiful. Just walk in, I didn't even think they had a wheelchair ramp too. It was nice. It was big. And you can do laps in it if you really wanted to. And so I go and I get baptized. And now I'm walking out the other side. There's a bunch of people clapping. I'm crying. And I'm just like, man, like, I feel good. And there's this real pretty lady sitting at the edge of the pool waiting for me. She introduces herself. And I was like, hi, nice to meet you. She's like, hi, nice to meet you too. And she's like, hey, what's your phone number? So I give her my phone number. And I'm just crying in emotion. I'm like, yeah, take my phone number. Here's my social security number too. Take anything you want. And I give her my phone number. I go, hey, why do you want my phone number? After I gave it to her, and she goes, I recorded your baptism. She's like, and I want you to have it. I was like, wow. I was like, that's so nice of you. I was like, do you work with the church? She goes, no. I go, huh? And she goes, you sat down in front of me and my family today. And I noticed you were by yourself. And I saw you crying. So when I saw you getting baptized, I had to record this for you. And I was like, man, how beautiful is that? Like, not only as an individual to do that for somebody that's a stranger, but the fact that I was going to not sit in that seat. And I might have never had that moment on camera for myself. And she took a bunch of pictures and a video and all these other things. And I was Like, thank you. Like, wow. So I leave. Have a great day. Do my thing. I go to work Monday morning. I worked, lunch shift, for those in the restaurant biz. And I do my work, and I got this one doctor that always comes in, and I'm leaving names out of it, of course, and he's a world-renowned doctor, one of my regulars. And we start talking, and he brings up Jesus. And we start talking. He tells me, he goes, you're a smart young man. Gives you some compliments, and he goes, that's good you know Jesus. He goes, because he's needed in this world, and he's going to be needed for you. And I was like, yeah. So now I go to the gym, do my thing, the rest of my Monday, whatever. Tuesday's my only day off. I was working 6 days a week at the time. So Tuesday, I wear this shirt. This is the shirt they gave me at my baptism. If you notice, it doesn't really look very religious. There's not a cross on it or anything like that. It just says, I have a story to tell you. So I go to the gym. I walk in the sauna to get warmed up like I always do. Do my little 10-minute, just my little pregame rituals, get my zone, my flow going, get all warmed without having to do anything. And I walk in, and it's a packed house. It's not like a big steam, or not like a big sauna or nothing like that. And there's 5 people in there. And 4 of them have headphones on, and they're buried in their phones like most people are. And they're all individuals, the 4. None was with each other. And there's this one older, larger lady. And, real warm. She just looks like the kind of person that if you went to her house, she has one fresh baked pie at all times, just ready, just for someone, and a meal for no reason. Like, she's real homey and real bright smile. And then she starts mouthing at me, so I take my headphone off. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's up? She's like, what's your story? I go, excuse me? Forgetting I even had the shirt on. And then she points to my shirt. She's like, you said you have a story. What's your story? I was like, I got baptized on Sunday. And she goes, congratulations. Do you know that the devil is after you? I go, excuse me? She goes, do you know you're a marked man? I go, lady, that might normally freak some people out. I go, but I've been getting attacked by all sorts of things lately. This past summer, I was like, so that's actually kind of why I got baptized, because I've been under attack, and I needed to put the armor of God on. And she goes, so you're happy you gave your life to Christ? I go, yes, ma'am. And she goes, sit down. Welcome to the kingdom. And extends her hand out. And all 4 individuals get up in unison and march out the door like drones. So now I'm like this, like, now I look back at her, and she just looks at me. She goes, the devil scatters in the name of Jesus, sweetheart. Sit down. So I sit down, feeling like Neo in the Matrix. She starts telling me stories of 2 prophets from the Bible that were promised things from God, but they went back to old ways and they didn't get those things. She starts telling me some really humbling things about my future that I won't share for my own personal reasons. And, real humbling. To the point she's got tears in her eyes. And she starts telling me things that, on a spiritual level, what she told me would be better than if Jennifer Lopez was like, hey, I want to marry you. And she's fine. I loved me some J-Lo. Like, to put it in perspective of what she was telling me. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, even if you're a 1/10 right on this, I am going to be happy. And we're talking. And I go, yeah. She goes, honey, she starts telling me about how everything's connected through Christ and the world and this and that. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I know everything's connected. I was like, the church that I got baptized at was the first church I saw in Las Vegas and blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking. I'm really excited, like in her face. And she looks at me like, child, please. Like I already know it. So I stopped talking mid-sentence. And she looks at me and she goes, everything is connected. Every moment of your life, from anything you've had, is connected for a reason. To me right now, talking to you, to the lady that talked to you on Saturday night, swear to God, She said that. I just go, excuse me? And she goes, angels are rooting for you, sweetheart. I go, wow. I'm humbled, floored. It still moves me. Because it was one of the craziest things that I've been a part of. And I didn't mention nothing to her. And she told me. So we talk a little bit more. And I thank her. And, my Southern hospitality in me. I give her a hug and I give her a little peck on the cheek. I give her a peck on the cheek. She snaps back and she looks at me and she goes, that was a holy kiss, right? I go, yes, ma'am. She goes, you're going to lose your job tomorrow. I go, what? She goes, you're going to get fired tomorrow, but it's okay. She goes, you're going to have something much better for you on the other side. And I go, oh, okay. We said a few more words, and I'll get to what she said about after that in a minute here. But I go to work the next day. I'm there for like 2 hours, nothing crazy, nothing long. And I'm going to tell the whole story because there's probably people listening to this that are a part of that. So I'm going to leave names out of it and, of course, the business's name out of that as well. But I had some old coworkers come in. I had my bar manager working with me at the time. Anybody that's ever worked a bar, you get promotional bottles like, hey, try this out. This is free. Try this out. This is free. Anyone that's ever worked in a restaurant knows that usually when you go back to a restaurant that you work at before, that you usually get some comp things like, hey, here's a free dish, a free glass of wine, whatever it may be. So I get instructed by my bar manager to give a free cocktail to one of the 2 former coworkers that have came and now sit at the bar. I give my free cocktail out, this and that. Now, mind you, it's a promotional bottle. It's not in the system because why? We got it for free. Very good. You're paying attention. So I make the cocktail, and all of a sudden, my managers pulls me outside, starts telling me that I'm a thief. So they fired me and sent me home on the spot after never doing a no-call, no-show, and never really even calling out sick. Always doing my 111th. It's a football term. 11 people on the field at once. Everybody does their job. You do your 111th. So I always did my 111th. I always had a good repertoire. I never did anything malicious there at all. Never took a dime, a penny, nothing. So, and I busted my butt 6 days a week. And so I go home. And of course I was mad at the time. I was mad. I was hot. I was like, what? Like, how dare you? Like my boss, one of your equals, just told me to do this, and now you're going to call me a thief? Like, hey, listen, you want to say I suck at my job, you want to say I'm lazy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Say whatever you want. But you call me a thief, that goes after my character. That goes after my integrity as a person. Like, I don't care who you are. And if any of you guys have situations where someone is pushing the envelope of their job title and they're dingling above your head and they're trying to push you down, you tell that person to back the hell off. Because I don't care what it is. God feeds me. God takes care of me. I don't care what your title is. And I hope one of them is watching this right now. Because I know right now that you're probably going to be in a worse place than I am, because anyone that's ever messed with me in my life has ultimately gotten 10 times worse than whatever they've done to me in return. And if you don't know that, ask people that truly have messed with me. Ask them. And if you have messed with me and nothing's happened to you yet, it's coming. It's coming. I don't know why. I'm special. I don't know why. I didn't ask for it. It's just the way it is. So, but back to the point here is, so I go home and I'm upset. I'm hot, and the gym's my home row, So I'm like, I gotta go work out. I'm fuming. I gotta go work out. I don't know what I'm gonna do for a job now. I can't believe they just did this to me. I can't believe a lady just told me yesterday I'm gonna get fired, and I walk in and I get fired. Like, what is going on right now in my life? So I go to the gym. I'm on one of those standing hamstring machines where you do the curls, the individual ones. And I don't like being talked to when I'm working out. I'm just I'm in my zone. I'm in my flow. I'm trying to have my therapy session. Just me and the doctor above. That's it. This lady not only talks to me in the middle of my set, but I mean in the middle of my set. I'm literally in the middle of my set going. And so I turn, I'm like, what? And it's this, every gym's got one. Every gym's got one. Older, like 70-year-old lady, clothes 40 years out of style, not even matching. And, she talks funny. She walks funny. And, You're just like, this lady's a character. Like, she looked like the kind of person that probably had a Cadillac but would go through a dumpster to look for bottles and cans. If you have an idea of that, what that looks like, that's what she looked like. So we're sitting there. I'm sitting there, and she looks at me and she goes, "You believe in Jesus?" I go, "Yes, ma'am." And right before this moment, I have tears in my eyes. You know, I'm a crier. I'll cry in public. I give two craps what anyone thinks. It's me and my life. See these two eyeballs? These are the only two eyeballs I see the world through. So for me, I want to make sure these two eyeballs are happy. So if I gotta cry, I'm gonna cry. If I have to yell, I'm gonna yell. If I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna laugh. So I have tears coming down my face, and I was praying to God. I was like, "God, let me know everything's gonna be okay. Let me know everything's gonna be okay." Look at her. "You believe in Jesus?" I go, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh." She goes, "The Lord is talking to me right now." And she's shaking and doing all this weird stuff. And she's like, "He wants me to tell you." And her eyes were closed the whole time. She's like, "He wants me to tell you that he loves you and that everything is going to be okay." Man, what a time to share that, right? And I was super low. And I go, "Thank you." And then she prophesizes to me and tells me some things about my life that I'll leave out of this. And it was humbling. It was beautiful. And it tied right in with what the other lady told me, too. I was like, man, that's like 2 and 3 days. Like, I'm on a row. So I finished my workout and go home, and I'm feeling just different. You know, because I got that Holy Ghost on me now. I'm baptized. Everyone that's ever been baptized will tell people who aren't baptized that once you get baptized, the world's just different. It opens up new things, beautiful things. And I'm just thinking about how I felt a year ago from right now. This brings me back, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel real good. So back to what the lady in the sauna told me that I didn't tell you yet. So now a few weeks go by, and I'm on a mission for God right now. So during this time, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna smoke weed. I'm not gonna have sex with no more women, and I'm not gonna jerk off for 30 days. Which, for me on a personal level, is damn near impossible. It's just the way it is in the world, and you develop bad habits over time, and it was hard. But I was like, I'm gonna do this for God, because God's gonna do something for me. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go back to old ways. I'm gonna last my 30 days. That's that. So the 30 days are getting to a closing end, and I had a female friend in town who we've been intimately involved with before. And, it was one of those things, nothing really happened, but something could have happened really easy. Anyone that has an old love spark with somebody and it's like, hey, I'm not doing good, you're not doing good, like, let's get drunk, you know? Let's do it. Screw it. We've already done it before. What's the difference? And her last day was my 30th day. So it was just tied up way too convenient. Way too convenient. So I finish my mission. I last my 30 days. The next day, boom, I get a phone call from a restaurant. Like, hey, we want you to come in for an interview. I'm like, all right, cool. Really nice place, too. I'm going to leave names out of it, of course. Way nicer than the other place I was working at. And the other place was nice. So I go for my interview. It's for an on-call position. And I'm like, phew. She's like, oh, you look upset. There's like people try really hard to get in here. I go, I understand that, lady. I go, but I'm just trying to find a home. I'm just trying to find something I could work full-time, have a home, and a good environment. She goes, I like you. She's like, you know what? She's like, would you be open to serving instead of bartending? And I go, absolutely. I was like, as long as I can make a living, do my thing, make some extra pocket money and have a good life and not have to worry about things, of course I will. And she's like, you know what? Come with me. This lady walks me out of her restaurant, walks me to a different restaurant, goes up to that manager and says, hire this man. And I got a job at that restaurant. Anyone ever go to an interview before? And then get a job and tell them no? And then the boss, the GM, walks you to a different restaurant and then tells the manager to hire you? I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's one of the craziest job interviews I ever had in my life. Like, bar none. So I got a job there, and, the rest is a wrap. But that's my baptism story. And I hope that someone listening to this, if you can relate and have a testimony of your own, I'd love to hear it and share it. We can even bring you on the show with the split screen, whatever like that. I got a phone line, the whole works. We'll figure it out. But if that doesn't relate to you and you're like on that cusp of like, I need to get baptized, I don't really know, do it. Do it. It's beautiful. Because the evil people will get out of your life. You'll have some trials still. No matter how holy you are, no matter how close you think you are to God, you're always going to be under trials. Matter of fact, the closer you are to God, the more trials and temptations you have. Because you're getting closer to that destiny, like I talked about in the drop zone. The closer you get, the more and more things get in your way. So as soon as you make that declaration with God, changes the world. Changes your eyes on what you see the world in. And what I have gotten in return for my baptism is way more than the things I gave up to do it. So thank you very much for listening to my Tuesday testimonial. #AllTrue, my baptism story. My name is Vincent DeMarco. Thank you very much for tuning in to Slug TV. God bless everybody.